Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Performance Medicine Show. See, we got some YouTube folks in the building. Roel, what's going on? Jack, hello. Stephanie, it has been a wonderful week so far in the Fountain City location. Thank you for hanging out with us after a busy day today. What's going on, Linda? How are you? Great to see you. Blessed to be here tonight, guys. Super pumped for the show tonight. Bunch of great questions, man. You guys make this show so helpful. The thoughtful questions that come in throughout the week are just such a gift for us. So thank you. Thank you in advance for doing that. Mark, what's going on, my brother? You know, I ate that entire sourdough bread loaf. So thank you for bringing that in. Rachel, what's up? Great to see you this weekend as well. Great to see you. Congrats to all the everyone who participated in the Tri-Cities Dancing with the Stars. Terry, what's up? Great to see you. Thank you. I believe you're in South Carolina, I think. No, not this Terry. I'm sorry. Terry, where are you from? Are you from East Tennessee? Hi, Lisa. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate you so much. Thank you to everyone who comes and hangs out with us every Tuesday. Grandma Mary, I got to hang out with you too. Got to hang out with Grandma Mary Saturday night. Had a great time. You were absolutely gorgeous, Grandma. Terry's in Kingsport. Okay. All right. I love it. I love it. Home. I heard about the DB game last Friday. I think they called it a tie or something. Velma, what's up? Great to see you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out. Every Tuesday we send out Performance Weekly. We post a couple different shows on the YouTube channel. And this one was a doozy. Y'all asked for it. You guys are the reason that we made this Common Sense MD episode, specifically on creatine monohydrate. I hope you guys got to check that out. If you haven't, you can check it out later. It'll be up on the YouTube channel forever. This was Dr. Rogers talking about the supplement creatine. And I'll be honest, I kind of finished that episode thinking, well, I think I should be on creatine. and I'm pretty sure my dad would agree. Real quick, we had a dive into diet episode go out today. This is a part one of a two-part series on red flag foods for medications. I'm so thankful for Lucas that he does this type of content. It's so helpful. I can't tell you how far away it is from my mind to ask a doctor, hey, what you're prescribing me, does that interact with anything I'm eating? It's important. This one, part one, focuses a lot on dairy and grapefruits. So super interesting episode. Thank you, Lucas, for shining a light on that. I see Doc is getting ready. Real quick, we are now open in the brand new West Knoxville office. Thank you to all of our Knoxville patients for being patient with us. We have been moving the last couple of days. The whole entire team did incredible. Thank you so much to Katie and Carter. Thank you to the entire West Knoxville crew. You guys did incredible. April, Montana, Robin, Jasmine, everybody, to my best friend Kyle, who helped with the build out. You guys did incredible. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. I hope you guys get to check it out if you're a Knoxville resident. So super, super pumped about that. All right, I think Doc is ready to roll. And let's do this. Let's see. We got a few more people in. Motaz, what's up? What's going on? Allison, what's up? Thank you, Jack. Yes. Yes, Amber, you're in the new office today. Yeah, it's so awesome. I hope everything that today was the first day seeing patients, and it went perfectly. Shout out to the entire West Knoxville team. All right, Doc, let's do this. What's going on?
Ben, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
How's your day? Yeah, I know you've been watching the U.S. Open.
Yeah, most I've been working, but yeah, I just did tune into the tennis tournament. As you know, we're a tennis playing family. Almost, well, now a pickleball playing family, but we grew up with tennis, and I love watching the U.S. Open.
So
How about you?
it was a wonderful day. It's rained off and off here in Fountain City and Knoxville, where I'm at. But it's been a wonderful day. And I before we get to questions, because we got a ton of questions, we're going to get straight into it. If someone were to ask you, are you a tennis player or a pickleball player? What's your answer right now?
I would say probably I think of myself as a tennis player.
Okay. It's an interesting question, because I probably play more pickleball now than tennis, but I would still say I'm a tennis player.
Yeah. You will always be a tennis player.
All right, let's get to the show, guys. Y'all know the drill. For those who are with us live, if you have a question for Dr. Rogers, go ahead and put it in the comments. We're going to get to every single live question tonight. We had a few come in throughout the week, so we're going to get to that. Now I'm going to start with a Digest Shield question. Does taking Digest Shield break the fast? And there is a follow-up to that, so I'll let you start with that one.
No, it shouldn't break the fast. No.
Okay.
No, it will not break your fast. Again, you should take Digest Shield before you eat. So that's when you break your fast, when you eat. So there's no reason to take Digest Shield on an empty stomach anyway. So it's kind of a moot point.
Well, I think what you've talked about a lot is, because people do ask about the timing of when to take Digest Shield. I think best practice is around 30 minutes before your meals. If you don't hit that mark, I know it's fine. I've taken it 5 minutes before my meals if I'm in a pinch, but I do think 30 minutes is.
It's not going to hurt you to take it on an empty stomach and not eat for a few hours, but really, you don't need to do that. It wouldn't break your fast anyway, but there's no reason to do that.
Yep. This kind of goes along with it. Does taking it with digestive medications like famotidine, omeprazole, and Tagamet break the fast? So this is, I'm assuming, and I apologize if I messed up this question. I'm assuming it's in addition to the Digest Shield.
Yeah. Well, those are acid blockers. But no, I mean that it wouldn't break the fast if you took it with that, really. But the point is, you want to get off of medicines like that if you can, and Digest Shield is a good way to kind of maybe do that. And plus, changing what you eat and figuring out what's causing your reflux, heartburn, that type of thing.
All right, thank you for that question. Came in through email. Let's go to a carotid IMT question. Heard you guys discussing the carotid scan you have scheduled in your office. This is in regards to the carotid IMT. I'm curious if that is the same type of scan that LifeScreen does in different locations during the year. Follows up with, if not, could you please discuss the differences?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, it's not the same thing. LifeScan just runs a plain ultrasound of your carotids to make sure you don't have any major blockage, which the carotid IMT also will detect. But the reason the carotid IMT, intimal media thickness, is so good is because it measures that innermost lining of the arteries and gives you an arterial age. So it's more a measure of inflammation in that important endothelial lining. So way more information in a carotid IMT than just the plain carotid ultrasound. So that's the one you want to get if you can. It's hard to get. I mean, we have to get people from Atlanta to come up and do them in our office. It's not a routine type test, but it's way better in my opinion.
All right. Thank you for that, Doc. Edith, I see Edith's in here. Thank you so much for hanging out, Edith. We're definitely going to get to that question. I love the augmented NAT question. We're going to get to that in the live comments tonight, because I did miss that last week. Okay, let's go to let's see, this one here. Have you heard of Dr. Mercola's gallbladder enzymes? It has 200 milligrams ox bile plus other ingredients. How does it compare to Digest Shield? I don't know about this one. What's your understanding of the Dr. Mercola gallbladder enzymes?
I mean, it is a decent product for sure. Ox bile is something that helps you break up fats, and especially for people with gallbladder problems. But really, the Digest Shield has about everything you need in it, probably more, because it has prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes to help you break down the fats, more traditional type digestive enzymes than ox bile. It also has lactase to block down dairy. It has chitosan, which blocks down glutens and lectins. So it's just a more complete digestive aid. Not that the ox bile isn't useful. It can be. I'm not sure what else is in the Dr. Mercola's gallbladder enzymes, but it's probably a good product. I've had so much luck with Digest Shield with everybody. I had a guy today tell me it really, really has just made a world of difference in his IBS symptoms today. So,
it's such a great question, and one, I appreciate you bringing this up. The Dr. Mercola's gallbladder enzymes. I'm going to keep an eye out for that. And thank you, Doc, for the comparison there. It's super interesting because I know gut products and probiotics in particular, it can be tough to kind of compare. Originally, people were going by the amount of what is it?
how many billion CFUs and colony forming units are in it. But it's really more the quality than the number of CFUs in the product, I think.
All right, we're going to keep moving here. Thank you so much for that question. Richard, I love that question you just put in the comments there around the omega-3s. That's perfect timing. We're going to talk about that tonight. All right, where am I at here? Let's see here. Could you please ask your dad if he is familiar with the Tulsa prostate procedure that Dr. Bush in Alpharetta, Georgia does to treat prostate cancer? And Doc, if you don't mind, I'm going to give a little little context for you here. If I can find it. There we go. Okay. So my husband's 70s and otherwise healthy and active, recently had this yearly MRI screening there, seems in Alpharetta, and he will follow up a biopsy to determine cancer and Gleason scoring soon for area found in prostate. What things should we be doing now and after that procedure regarding diet, supplements, vitamin infusions, etc.? I believe I've heard you discuss vitamin C infusions, and that's in regards to cancer, Doc. But did you say there's a blood test done first to determine if that is a safe option? Okay.
As far as vitamin C IV, you need to get a G6PD test to make sure you have enough of that enzyme. Again, it's 1 in a million that doesn't have enough of it to receive IV vitamin C. And those 1 in a million, you could have hemolytic anemia from getting high dose IV vitamin C. But I've only seen that one time, but we routinely test it. Anybody should before they give you high dose IV vitamin C, which is what I would do along with a ketogenic diet, exercise, sleep, all the other stuff. But I am familiar with the Tulsa procedure, and I know Dr. Bush personally, talked with him many times. He's just been a leader in the field. He's a radiologist who just images prostates, and he's really, really good. It's way better than going in and getting a blind biopsy with a truss needle, which is painful. You're really doing about 16 blind sticks. He goes in there with an MRI and does the biopsies under MRI guidance with, just like 2 thin needles that are directed into the area of question. So way better, in my opinion, than a blind stick. Plus you don't have all the risk of getting septic and getting infected from, the truss needle itself. It's a lot more invasive procedure to get that done. by most of the urologists. I mean, believe me, they'll all be doing it soon. Most people now get an MRI of the prostate before they do a biopsy. They should be. So it's becoming pretty common. We've been sending people down there for years to get this procedure and an MRI. So Dr. Bush is really good at looking at that MRI and saying, yeah, I think this is cancer. Let's biopsy, because you just don't want to get a needless biopsy of your prostate. That's not a fun procedure. It can be a risky procedure. I have a good friend who had a PSA of 4. And so the urologist does the old fashioned 16 truss needle biopsies, which were all negative. But this guy ends up spending a week in the intensive care unit for sepsis from that procedure. So not to say, that's going to happen to everybody. It won't, but there's certainly better ways to do this. So as far as the Tulsa procedure, that's, I'm not a urologist, so I don't do these procedures, but it is fairly new way to treat both enlarged prostate and prostate cancer. It's usually an MRI guided treatment, and they use high frequency ultrasound to decimate the area of concern. And so it's a selective. So in other words, you can go in there and see where the prostate cancer is, get rid of that part instead of taking your whole prostate out and maybe being incontinent and having ED the rest of your life. So I've had several people that got it done. It can also work on an enlarged prostate as well. So I like the Tulsa. There's another one, gosh, very similar to that. Oh gosh, I forget what they call it, but just go to somebody that really is advanced in this kind of thing. We used to have to send people to Houston or Delray Beach, Florida to get this procedure. Again, insurance is not going to pay for it like they used to. So, they're going to probably pay for you to get your prostate out for these focal ablations. Are probably not going to pay for it, but for a lot of people, it's well worth it. So talk to somebody. Always get two opinions on things,
And one thing, and I think this isn't, what this listener is implying here is you have in the past, said a few things you would immediately do if you got cancer. I don't know if that applies to prostate cancer. Out of curiosity.
Sure it does. Yeah.
Okay. Because you've mentioned getting a high dose vitamin C infusion, which to answer this question is you do need a G6PD test before.
Yeah.
You mentioned a keto diet, maybe?
Keto diet. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else? They're saying that they take quite a few supplements, and my husband has taken an OTC testosterone booster in the past, but not supplemented with testosterone itself. Is that safe or a good idea for him to continue? So I guess that's around testosterone.
No, hold off on any of those those T boosters until you find out a diagnosis. Okay. Again, testosterone does not cause prostate cancer, and it really doesn't even cause spread of prostate cancer. Estrogen is usually the culprit with prostate cancer and prostate enlargement. So testosterone will not cause your prostate to enlarge or have cancer. That's something that they thought for many years, but read Dr. Morgenthaler, chief of urology at Harvard, and look at his book, Testosterone for Life. But if it was me, I would just play it on the safe side and just find out your diagnosis first and then think about it, about it, mainly for medical legal reasons. But, look at that, but hold off on your supplement for right now. Just see what you've got. Let me see if you do have prostate cancer, look at the Gleason score. That'll tell you if it's something to worry about or really not. So really interesting. I don't know. How old was this patient been?
It seems right here, husband 70s and otherwise healthy and active.
Yeah. I don't know if you had a yearly total full body MRI or just the prostate MRI, but there's an argument that anybody over 70 should never have a PSA drawn again, because if they get suspicious, they're going to go through a lot of needless procedures, because usually, unless it's a really unusual aggressive prostate cancer at that age, it's not going to kill you. You're going to die with it, not of it. So a lot of people say the benefits to doing that outweighs the risk. The benefits of not doing a PSA, but I tend to like screening tests myself. So I check guys, but, so just since you're into it, see what Dr. Bush thinks, and, don't undergo an unnecessary procedure. Like if you have a Gleason 6, that's probably not even cancer. Just watch it. Observation, watchful waiting is a good policy too. You don't have to get your prostate ripped out or even get a Tulsa procedure unless you really need it. If it's, near, they can also determine the location of it. Is it near a neurovascular bundle? More likely to metastasize. And the Gleason score will give you how aggressive that prostate cancer is going to be. So I hope that helps. But I like Dr. Bush. I really do like him.
I've only heard you say amazing things about him. I believe he's from his father is a urologist as well. Is there
no,
two Dr. Bushes?
His son is a radiologist like he is.
Right.
His son's still based in Chattanooga, I think, but Dr. Bush moved from Chattanooga to Atlanta.
Got it.
The urologists do not like Dr. Bush.
It's interesting
because it's a turf battle. They want, but they'll be doing the same thing he's doing when the technology clears up and the insurance starts reimbursing for it. But it's funny how they don't like him, but I like him. And I think a lot of urologists too. I have a lot of urology buddies, but they're catching up with their technology and MRIs of prostate, and they're realizing they shouldn't biopsy every prostate that comes along with PSA of 4. And it's ridiculous. You watch that PSA velocity. PSA is not a great test, but and another tip, the PSA, if you've got prostate cancer, your PSA is not going to come back down. It's going to keep going up. So if your PSA is 6, of course, enlarged prostate causes a high PSA. If it's 6 and then it comes down to 5, most likely you don't have prostate cancer. But if it's 6 and next year it's 8 and it's 10, you may have it. Good chance of it. But I hope that's a good short course in prostate cancer diagnosis.
It's a really good question, and I'm really thankful they sent that in over email, because I know, I know you deal with that quite a bit in the office, and prostate's a major concern for every male as we get older. So thank you for sending that in. I see Robin Riddle's in here. What's going on, Robin? You guys know Robin's in our nurse practitioner in the West Knoxville office, as well as the star of Explain This. We're going to do some filming this Friday, I believe. And speaking of Robin, we're going to put a question up here that came in throughout the week. And I say this because Robin's done an Explain This episode on PCOS, and it's super helpful. So my first answer to this will be, go check out Robin Riddle's Explain This episode on PCOS. And the second is, I'm going to ask Doc here, PCOS help supplements, other than checking out Robin's video, what would you say to this?
Yeah, Robin explains it way better than I can, but polycystic ovarian disease is a disease really of insulin resistance. It's a pre-diabetic state, usually comes on in late teenage years, affects fertility, causes obesity, causes diabetes, causes hair growth, acne, all those things you don't want as a woman. But fortunately, there's a lot of good treatments for it. As far as supplements, I like berberine. I like a very low carb diet. Berberine, metformin is generally the medicines we use, or spironolactone, which blocks down dihydrotestosterone, which causes problems for people with PCOS. So really strict diet, good supplements, maybe metformin, maybe spironolactone, berberine, definitely get on that tomorrow. And, talk to somebody like Robin, who really treats a lot of it, and because it affects fertility as well. Robin's really specializing in fertility now, natural ways to enhance fertility. I want to do a podcast with Robin on that also at some point, because it's really important. But go to Robin's Explain This. It's really, really good.
I hope that helps. And also, if you're wanting to dive a little deeper into functional fertility, Robin has a functional fertility handle on both Instagram as well as Facebook. And Robin can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Functional Fertility Performance Medicine and Functional Fertility PM over on Instagram. So be sure to check those out. We're going to keep moving here, guys, and then we're taking live questions. I see Linda's question. Sorara, I see your question. Great question there. Evangeline, I'm going to put this up from Evangeline. Thank you. Like, this isn't, anytime Evangeline has a compliment on one of our videos, I'm like super stoked. He's saying on HMB, think we can do one?
Yeah. I think that's maybe why I did it on creatine, because Evangeline asked me. Yeah, it turned out to be a really good, informative thing. A lot of people just don't understand. They're scared of creatine. So, yeah, it's something I take every day, and I think it's great for you. It's not dangerous either. So, thank you for that idea, and thank you for pushing us on to do that podcast on creatine.
And I'm writing that down, Evangeline, HMB. I'm going to put this up from Robin. This is her handle over on Facebook, and this is the handle, I believe, over on Instagram. So I'll put those up a couple times tonight if those, for those of you who are wanting to dive a little deeper on functional fertility. Okay, let's go to, this was an interesting one. And first of all, I hope this listener's okay. A question about a fingernail injury accidentally drilled into the center of a fingernail with the drill bit. When the drill bit broke, it went through the fingernail and into the nail bed. Question is, it's bleeding a little, but not much pain other than alcohol to clean and antibiotic ointment. Would you suggest any additional treatment? Do you treat this kind of injury in your offices? What's your thoughts on this?
Yes, I definitely treat that kind of injury. I like treating this kind of thing. I used to work ER some, and matter of fact, I dug a bullet out of a guy's arm a few months ago, so that this would be a piece of cake compared to that. But yeah, I hope you got the bit out. Hopefully it's not lodged in there. But one thing with nail injuries that I don't like to do is take the nail off, because the nail is very protective. The thing about bleeding behind the nail, that builds up a lot of pressure. And when I see that, like somebody smashes it with a hammer or something, I actually drill a hole in it with either an 18 gauge needle or a little cautery unit I have to make a hole in it so the bleeding will come out and not build up and cause horrible pain. So it sounds like you've already got a hole in it. So that's a good thing. But clean it, real good. Hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, put an antibiotic ointment on it. Probably won't need a systemic antibiotic. I like to keep it, loosely covered, so keep it safe from whatever else you're doing. But yeah, that'll turn out great. If it's not major, you probably won't have a nail deformity. Sometimes you'll get a little, hard place there, but it should turn out great. But yeah, we treat stuff that comes in like that.
I'm thankful for questions like this. I think, I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of just the quick care type stuff. It's so fun. So
I like the quick care,
yeah,
we love doing it, and it's fun.
Hope everything's okay with your fingernail. Thank you for sending that in over over email. Lisa, I see you. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I see Janice's question. See Ruth's in here. Ruth, what's up? Jay Jenkins from Raleigh. I'm obsessed with Raleigh, North Carolina. I think it's incredible. Let's get to this last question, then we're going to get to the live questions. Can you take creatine with a history of SVT and tachycardia? Sure. This is coming, I'm sure, from the video today.
Yeah, it's not going to affect that. It's not a stimulant. You better be careful about caffeine. But creatine, no, it's fine. It works in a different way. It's muscle energy, but it's not that kind of stimulant. So yeah, I would feel very comfortable taking that with history of that. So I don't think there's any problem.
All right. Thank you for that question. All right, guys, that does it for the questions that came in throughout the week. And I know I missed Edith's question, so we're going to get to that first. If you have a question for Doc, go ahead and put it in the comments. I see Victor's here from LinkedIn. Thank you to all the LinkedIn folks. Yes, we're definitely going to get to that, Victor. Okay, let's start with Edith because I want to make sure we get to it. Edith is asking, is Digest Shield working as a binder? Also, what is Dr. Tom's opinion of augmented NAC versus the regular NAC? And I do believe this is in regards to long COVID. What's your answer to this for Edith?
Digest Shield is not a binder. When you think of binders, you think of things like cholestyramine. Binders are pretty good if you have an inflammatory condition like microscopic colitis, which I recommended a binder today on somebody I think has microscopic colitis. When they get a colonoscopy, they need to tell their GI doc to take a biopsy, even though the area looks normal. I'm convinced that COVID caused a lot of microscopic colitis. So it doesn't work as a binder. There's something called zeolite that works as a binder. That's more of an herbal type medication. And cholestyramine is the prescription form of it. So Digest Shield is not a binder. And sometimes binders come in useful if you've got an inflammatory bowel condition, or if you've had food poisoning, that type of thing. I like activated charcoal as well. I think every medical kit ought to have one in it. But there's other binders, like zeolite's a form of clay. But anyway, augmented NAC, I have heard of this. I haven't seen any, but apparently I've seen advertisements for it. Apparently it's a more absorbable form of it. I don't know if there's any credence to it or not. I think it's a proprietary blend, meaning you don't know really what's in it. So I'm not against it, but I just don't know if the claims they have about it being that much more absorbable are true. NACs are really good. N-acetylcysteine is just a great product for a lot of things, especially, if you have COVID. I haven't used the product, but I don't know whether to believe the hype or not, to be honest with you.
All right, Edith, we will keep our eye over on augmented NAC. Thank you for putting that question in. Let's see here. Where are we at? Let's see. Let's go to Richard here. Richard on Facebook is asking, article in Journal of Cardiology this past Wednesday of 25,000 people from Cleveland Clinic says that omega-3 supplements have no health benefits. In light of this, do you recommend continuing to use omega supplements, or should we just depend on food sources? I'm so thankful for this question, Richard, because I know a lot of people have read similar stuff around omega-3s. And Doc, I know you have thoughts on it, so let's.
Yeah, I think omega-3s are very useful for a lot of things. And the thing about these studies like this one, you got to look and see how much omega-3 they used and where it came from. Now, there's a big difference in omega-3s, krill, fish. I mean, the thing about that I have read, and I believe that, is that you need to take quite a bit of it. I mean, I don't know. It's just BS that they say that, because any cardiologist will tell you if your triglycerides are high, how do I bring it down? Use omega-3s. There's always some article putting down vitamins because they're cheap, they're over the counter. The one supplement, you need a good quality one, and you need a high dose. I'm talking about probably 3 grams of it, but it's probably true that 1,000, milligrams or 1 gram is probably not going to help you to prevent heart disease. But I just, don't take any credence at all in those studies like this. You need to see how many grams they used, what was the quality of it, how long was the study. It's crazy because, even vitamin D, something that almost anybody with any sense knows, it helps you in many ways. But there's always somebody coming out, like probably cardiology. There was an article this week that I read about vitamin D, where it's been found that it does help prevent heart attacks, vitamin D, D3. And all the other studies have always shown no benefit at all to vitamin D. And even during the COVID years where they were saying vitamin D does not help you. That's BS. It does help. There's no doubt in my mind, and anybody who studies this stuff, vitamin D works for many, many things. So there's many other studies that say it works. So I just don't believe it. You need to dive into that test a little bit further and read. I think if that's the same article I read, there was a positive benefit from that. But then it says, well, we're not sure if it's statistically significant. But yet there's something like on the placebo, one person was spared a heart attack. When they took the omegas, 6 people were spared a heart attack. And it's not significantly statistical difference, but just use your own common sense and read the study, because I just don't believe it.
Richard, thank you for bringing this up. And I guess what I'm hearing from you, Doc, is you're not changing your behavior around omega-3s.
No, I think it's a very important supplement. Just like I think vitamin C is an important supplement, but a lot of the academics don't think it is, despite all the evidence that it works.
And I think you have, I know you mentioned the 3 grams here. With some of these studies, a lot of it, they're just not using enough. Is that right? Is that the way?
Yeah, even in the vitamin D study, they were using 1,000 to 2,000 units. I mean, you have to take way more than that to get the benefit. I mean, you can't go by these RDAs. You really need to use higher doses. And vitamins are safe. You're not going to overdose on a vitamin. Even vitamin D, you'd have to take unbelievable amounts of it for months and probably years to precipitate even a kidney stone. But yeah, I'm just real skeptical of these vitamin people. And I used to be a vitamin skeptic too, until I saw these patients taking them and they're healthy. Mm-hmm. Then you saw what happened with COVID. It was very low vitamin D levels. I mean, it's very protective. So, don't let that jade you. Check the study out. I love to look at Dr. Atia's stuff, because he dives into these studies pretty close and he refutes almost every one of them that say this doesn't work.
Doc, thank you for that. Richard, thank you so much for putting that question in. I know a lot of people have the same concerns after studies like that are coming out around omega-3s. So thank you. We're going to keep talking about stuff like that because it's important. Let's get to Suara here. Have you guys tried TA65? If I remember correctly, TA65 came up when we were talking about, was it apigenin?
No, astragalus. Yeah.
Astragalus.
TA65 is interesting. Every meeting I go to, the folks from TA65 are there promoting their product. It's supposedly supposed to lengthen your telomere length and prolong your life. The active ingredient is astragalus. No, I haven't tried it because I can't afford it. Have you seen how much that stuff costs? That's why I formulated my own brand. I call it my longevity vitamin, that has astragalus in it. It has apigenin in it. I'm blanking out on a third one. Gosh. It has another ingredient that's real. Oh, it has nicotinamide riboside, NR, in it. So I have all 3 of those for a fraction of the cost.
There it is.
There it is. Somebody smart to put that thing right up there. NR is still my favorite precursor to NAD+. So that's my longevity formula. And look at how much TA65 is going to cost you. Not that it's probably not a good product, but the main ingredient is astragalus. So I really looked into that. And I'm not going to, it's just too expensive, for my taste.
What's interesting is that one comes up quite a bit. So I think, Suara, it's great from everything I've heard of. And I think
if you've got the money, you should buy it, but why not buy the cheaper stuff? Because that's the active ingredient in there is astragalus. So, it's interesting.
Now, is it astragalus or astragalus?
I don't know.
What is it? Let me put this back up. I want to get this right.
Maybe it's just astragalus. It has an L in there.
Astragalus.
Okay,
Astragalus.
yeah, I was mispronouncing.
Astragalus.
Yeah, astragalus.
I love it. I love it.
That's the only time Ben's ever corrected me on a wording of a medicine. But I'm glad you pointed it out.
I have to.
You wanted to get back at me, didn't you?
I had to get like a small win,
Well,
astragalus.
you got a major win there. So,
Sarar, thank you so much for putting that in on YouTube. Let's keep moving here. We're going to go back to Facebook here. Let's go to Janice. What do you suggest for now? This is what I get: psoriatic,
yeah.
Psoriatic arthritis. That's what I get for trying to correct you.
Yeah, the P is silent. Psoriatic arthritis. Yeah. Gosh, you may have to get on a heavy hitter if it's really bad. A biologic, of course, the way that like Stelara and those things, but those are heavy hitter, expensive drugs that can have side effects. I would probably look at your diet first and straightening out your gut. I like, as far as supplements go, I like curcumin. I really like, let's see, what's the other one I use for that? I just thinking of it, but LDN, low dose naltrexone, is one that I put people on with that. A lot of it depends on whether you have more of the psoriasis or more of the arthritis. Some people that have it just have a rash and no joint pain. Other people have joint pain and very little rash. Sometimes to tame it down a little bit while you get under control, if there's a flare, we use, prednisone for short periods of time. So, again, remember, I'm a blend between traditional and alternative. I use both. I'm not going to use them. I'm not going to not use a prescription medicine when it works, for sure. You can't get out on either end. You can't just say, I'm only going to take an herb. There's real medicines that work for a lot of great stuff. Don't ignore them. But it just depends on how severe it is. But that's what I would suggest starting out. But look up LDN. It's wonderful. I put somebody on it today. I forget what I put her on it for. I think it was myositis. Saw a case of myositis today, which is not real common. Kind of rare.
What is myositis?
It's inflammation of your muscles. There's dermatomyositis is a more severe one when you get rashes with that, but it's muscle destruction. So it's a really kind of rare thing. To diagnose it, you really need a muscle biopsy. But
Janice, thank you so much for putting this in there. I'm going to put Katie's comment. Katie, thank you so much for hanging out. Great, man. Great work. Goodness, we're in West Knoxville now. It's amazing. Thank you so much for all you're doing. Katie's saying you put a cancer patient on LDN yesterday, and I'm putting that up for a reason, because we have a couple different cancer comments and questions. Let's see here. Let's get Sawara had a comment around. There we go. Sorora saying, my aunt took RSO for her spine cancer instead of chemo 4 years ago. She's still cancer free. She looks better now than when she was 50. She also stopped eating processed foods a year ago. I'm teeing that up there. Thank you, Sorora, for putting this in, because I'm going to put Victor's question up here on from LinkedIn. Evening, guys. Since we're discussing supplements, what are Dr. Rogers' thoughts on pterostilbene, 250 milligrams for cancer? You might have to correct me there. I'm starting chemo tomorrow, and I'm taking fenbendazole. First of all, we're praying for you, Victor, and thank you for being here. We've done a couple podcast episodes with Dr. Bolton around fenbendazole, and now I'm blanking on the other one.
Artemisinin.
Yeah,
that's one. You should go to Dr. Bolton's. A couple podcasts we did with him, but good luck with it. I'm not versed enough to tell you. I haven't used it for cancers really, so I hate to tell you anything. I'm going to check it out though. because we get 1 or 2 calls a week for, alternative methods to treat cancer. And certainly I like fenbendazole. There's been so many studies by the huge clinics that have been positive with fenbendazole. I know, the academicians don't like off-label, outside-the-box thinking, but when you have cancer, in my opinion, you should get the traditional, and you should also hit it with the alternative stuff, especially the diet. But really important on diet. But I'm always think you should be open with your oncologist too. Again, you want an oncologist that will work with you and have an open mind and be willing to have you use some other stuff as well, besides traditional chemotherapy. But good luck. We'll be thinking about you, and keep in touch with us. Let us know how you're doing.
And also, if you might want to look at that video we did with Dr. Bolton. I think we've done 2. So if you search for Performance Medicine Dan Bolton, it should come up. And one, it's an inspiring story, and he's super educated around all this stuff. So thank you, Victor, for this. All right, let's keep going here. Let's go to Linda on YouTube. Have you tried LifeWave X39 patches?
No,
I don't know what this is.
I've heard of them. I don't know what the efficacy is or anything, but yeah, you can, if you've tried them, give us some feedback on how it worked. But so I haven't used them on anybody.
All right, Linda, keep us posted on the LifeWave X39 patches. Let's go to Jay Jenkins. Hello from Raleigh. Hello from Fountain City. If someone is unable to take metformin, causes lactic acidosis, is there a long-term alternative to get the anti-cancer, anti-aging benefits as metformin? Thank you. Thank you for being here, Jay Jenkins.
Yeah, that's a rare side effect, but it's sure a black box warning, lactic acidosis from metformin. Berberine is probably the closest thing. I don't think I've ever heard of a case of lactic acidosis from berberine. And other anti-aging benefits, anti-cancer. Of course, look up rapamycin. That may be the gold standard for anti-aging benefits. And look up Aspergillus. And of course, nothing replaces a good no sugar diet. I love a keto diet. I love the carnivore diet for better aging and anti-cancer. So don't worry if you can't take metformin. There's a lot of other stuff out there that's going to work pretty similarly. So.
All right, Jay Jenkins, I hope that helps. And Lisa, I see that. Okay, so you sent email on the LifeWave. Okay, I'll check that out. I'll make sure Doc sees it as well. LifeWave, the LifeWave X39. Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, let's go to Ruth's question here on Facebook. My cousin's dentist advised her to take ACV and iodine for GERD. I've heard of using ACV, but not iodine. Thoughts? Also, does ACV cause depletion of potassium?
What is ACV? It's not ringing a bell with me. Is that ringing a bell with you?
ACV, Ruth, if you could give us some clarification on what ACV is, ACV and iodine.
I've never used iodine for GERD either. I've used it for other reasons, but so I don't even know what ACV is. Iodine I haven't used for that. Interesting.
Let me do a quick look of ACV. Ruth, and what we'll do is we'll get back to this question. See if you have any clarification on ACV, put it in the comments. Okay, let's go to Golf House. How much of what? I'll make sure Doc gets it. How much do you take, Doc? Is that of the Ultimate Aging Formula? Let us know in the comments.
If you're talking about that, it's 2 capsules, and I'll take it at night because it's got the apigenin in it. It
Man,
seems to help me sleep pretty well.
look at this. We've got like the smartest community here. We've got Amber saying apple
Oh,
cider vinegar.
okay.
We've got Sherry, Myra, Ruth, and we got
Going,
Performance Medicine. We got our team.
going. I mean, how can we miss that, Ben? You should have just said apple cider vinegar, though. You know, all these abbreviations are getting to me. You know, yeah, I
Okay.
have heard. Of course, I've heard of apple cider vinegar, you know, as a treatment for GERD, and yeah, I think it works. I've never used it with iodine, but you know, before you start taking a bunch of iodine, you know, if you can take a huge amount of it, like 12.5 to 25 milligrams of it, check your iodine levels with a dried urine test, because it could potentially cause problems if you are high on it. Again, probably 80% of people don't have enough iodine, but I don't think it will deplete your potassium. I don't see why it would. You know, I had a question today on, well, we were looking at the podcast on creatine, and if you're ever worried about starting a new supplement, a new medicine, how it's going to affect your electrolytes or your renal function or any of that, just do a CMP. It's a dirt cheap test we can do for $20, and you know, just get that occasionally if you're worried about it. You know, I think Katie will answer, but I think it's about $20. We can do a complete metabolic panel on you. So if there's any worries, take a look at it. But yeah, for a lot of people, you know, apple cider vinegar really helps. Iodine, I don't know. It's interesting. A lot of the dentists will see damage to your enamel because of GERD. And they'll tell you, you're having reflux. You're having solid reflux because your enamel's being worn off your teeth.
Interesting.
Dental health is important, you know.
Ruth, thank you for putting that in. Thank you for clarifying on the ACV. I apologize. I should have totally caught that. But thankfully, we got such a smart crew here. Let's see here. Terry's in from Guatemala. Welcome in, Terry. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. Okay, let's keep going. And Golf House, if you can let me know how much of what, and we'll get Doc to answer that one. Let's see here. Let's get to WC1A, and then I'll get to Becky. I am ready to add collagen peptides to my vitamin regimen. Can you comment on what type I should take, or are they not really necessary? I'm 76 years old and in good health. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, you should supplement with collagen for sure, because you're losing collagen at your age. I've certainly been taking it for a long time. I'm 68, and I think it's really important that connective tissue, you know, you need to be able to replace it. Some of it, if you can. You can't replace all of it, but yeah, certainly. I take keto collagen, which has no sugar in it. Won't break your fast. So I like that one a lot. I think you should take it without a doubt. Your joints, your skin, your hair, your nail, everything will thank you for that.
All right. Thank you, WC1A, for putting that in. We are huge collagen peptide fans. Becky's asking, can having black mold on your walls cause autoimmune disorder like ankylosing spondylitis become active? I hope I'm reading that right, Becky.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, black mold is not good. You need to get rid of it. The first thing to do is get an environmental person out there and get rid of it. If you live in a wet environment, you know, it really can kick off almost any autoimmune disease. You know, mold's a toughie. A lot of people think that even Lyme disease is misdiagnosed. It's really mold. But in any event, it kicks off that autoimmune process, and that's what you're trying to avoid. So, yes, it's awful. So, clean it up. You might even want to go on a detoxification regimen. Getting an infrared sauna for sure.
All right, Becky, I hope that helps. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I think there is a follow-up to Becky's question. Oh, okay, there is. The mold test I did was positive for Stachybotrys black mold, and I'm going to misspell all that.
Aspergillus. Yeah.
Aspergillus. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's Aspergillus is a bad one too, but, yeah, they've done a test to see if there's mold. There's fungus in a lot of people's noses. Some people use antifungal nose sprays. They get them compounded, but yeah, I'm glad you're recognizing it and getting it cleared up, because it can kick off a lot of bad stuff, chronic fatigue.
All right, Becky, thank you for clarifying, giving us more information there. Let's see. Let's get to Motaz over on Facebook. I have trouble staying asleep. I've tried to take, I have to take Benadryl to remain asleep through the night. Otherwise, I wake up at 2 a.m. and cannot sleep again. Motaz, this is a common problem. What's your thoughts on this? About, it seems like it's about remaining
we hear
asleep.
it all the time. We hear it all the time, is early morning awakening. It's a toughie. I mean, I don't know if you're tired during the day. I don't know if you've had a sleep study. Some people, have sleep disorders that need to be diagnosed through a sleep study. That's something I hope to start doing through my office, to be honest with you, because it's one of the 4 horsemen I call, that you need to do to be healthy. Nutrition, exercise, sleep, hormones. Those are my 4 horsemen. Yeah, I hate that you have to take Benadryl, because it's really not a good sleep medication. It's an antihistamine. If it helps you get through the night and you're not too drowsy in the morning, it's not habit forming. I know some people, it can upset their water balance and maybe even aggravate their prostate a little bit. But I mean, I don't like the prescription sleeping pills too much. There's a new generation of them called orexin agonist. But even, and they're really not sleeping pills. They're more daytime alertness medications. Dayvigo is one. So you might think about getting a prescription for that, but they really don't work. But they work probably about half the time, and then you don't take one to go to sleep. You have to take it for up to a month to know if it's going to really help you or not. And it's more of a daytime alertness medication. But I like saffron. I like L-theanine. If you have a lot of mind chatter at night, you can do some different rituals to try to help you sleep better. I like saffron. I like L-theanine. I like ashwagandha, which are all 3. Those are the 3 ingredients in my stress formula. I think we can't keep those things in because people really like that. Dr. Rogers' stress formula has all 3 in one. Probably cheaper than buying one a piece. That's why I combine these vitamins. But I'd rather you get on something a little different than Benadryl. Some people use Vistaril, which is another antihistamine that probably works a little better, but it's prescription. But try to find the reason for it. Maybe get a sleep study. Get your Oura Ring. This is the best piece of equipment I have. You got yours on, Ben? See, look at this. Like-minded. These things will really show you how much sleep you're getting, how much REM, sleep latency, body temperature, heart rate variability, deep sleep, light sleep. It's just a great little tool to see actually what kind of quality sleep you're having. You may be surprised. Also tells you how much you're exercising, etc.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an Oura Ring, you need to buy one of those. It tells you your O2 sats at night. If you're desatting, you need to know that. You may have sleep apnea. So try that and try to stay off the prescription medicine. I'm sure you've tried melatonin, GABA, valerian root, that type of thing. And you may have to work your dose of melatonin up a little bit. Don't be afraid to. Maybe CBD. I put somebody today couldn't sleep on the nighttime version we have of CBD. That helps a lot of people.
And the other thing, our team in office actually helped me with the type of melatonin I was getting. Once I started getting it's the extended release one.
Yeah.
whichever one that is. That
Yeah. If
really
you take the
helpful.
short acting, you'll wake up. So get the extended release.
Yeah.
Intermediate
Motaz, I
release.
hope that helps, man. We're going to keep moving. Get to everybody here. I'm just going to put this up from Gator here because I think it's a great comment. Good evening, PM peeps. Hate being late to the show, but deadlifts are important. You're spot on.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you're deadlifting. Everybody should be deadlifting.
Evangeline is saying, I've recently heard leprosy is making a presence in the southern U.S. Any thoughts on the situation? I did not know about this. What's your thoughts?
I didn't know it was making a comeback either. I think they call that Hansen's disease, and there's a particular medicine that cures it. But I didn't know that. I really didn't know, but it wouldn't surprise me a bit if we, some of these viruses, bacteria, all this stuff makes a comeback, because who knows what they're doing with it in all these labs. I mean, who knows? Go read Dr. Mary's Monkey. That's a really interesting book. But they've been experimenting with these things in these labs for decades, and a lot of times bad stuff comes out of it.
All right.
But I don't want to get political, but I do want to take a poll. One of these days, I really want to come out and tell you what I think about COVID-19. Is anybody voting for that? I mean, a really honest opinion about everything concerning COVID, because I have a lot of experience with it, a lot of thoughts about it. If anybody votes that I come out and not worry about getting censored or anything, hopefully it won't get censored anymore, although you got to be careful. Who knows? But if anybody votes for that, I'm going to come out and I'm just going to make a clear statement on what I think about COVID. Anybody, we'll take some votes, Ben.
If it's an overwhelming response in the comments, we'll have to we'll figure out something, and we'll do it in a way that's helpful, and but I do want to put this up here because it's kind
something
of
that I won't end up on the bottom of Boone Lake with or something.
A bunch from YouTube saying, what do you suggest for treating COVID in 2023? So let's keep this kind of PG. How are you actually treating it in 2023? I'm
treating it the same way. I treated the case yesterday over the phone. So what I'm seeing is there is a little resurgence, and I'm treating the same way. I'm using the eye drug, ice cream, or was our code name for it back then. I don't know if that still applies or not, but we don't want to get censored again because this is too much fun, too much good information. The high dose vitamins, I use Zithromax. The thing about this mutation, and things can always change. They always are changing. We're not going to get rid of COVID. It's always going to be here. There's no going away with that. As a matter of fact, Ben, I want you to post this article that I read in the Wall Street Journal. Please post that for everybody on here tonight, because I want you to read this carefully. It'll take you about 5 minutes to read it. It's a really good editorial written by the head of the editorial board at the Wall Street Journal. I mean, how much credence could you use over that? But nobody's going to read that, but you're going to have to post it somehow. I'll tell you what, we'll post this tomorrow. On what format will we post it, Ben?
We'll post in a couple. I'll put a link in the comments tonight, both on Facebook and YouTube. I'll find
put a link to it.
Article.
Please go look at that, because it's exactly how I feel. And again, it doesn't even get into the how we treated it. All that stuff doesn't get into the jab or anything like that too much. But it's a really interesting article. But I am treating it. I still treat it fairly aggressively. I'm not really having to use nebulizers so much. I mean, oxygen and all that. Just very few people are having to go to the hospital for this. So, I'm just treating it like I did before. I just find myself not having to use the high dose steroids or the inhaled steroids and that type of thing. But I still jump on it. There's a question about whether or not you should even get tested for it, because a lot of times you think you have a cold, it was COVID. So what?
So just posted the link on both Facebook and YouTube. I will try and get it over on LinkedIn. It's not letting me do it from my little dashboard here now. But
I can feel Ben reining me in a little bit. I can feel that. He's giving me that vibe that I should rein it in.
Well, I tell you what.
But one day I'm gonna let it rain. But one day I'm gonna let it rain, if you know what I mean.
We're getting
I'm gonna come out with all the thoughts.
An overwhelming response of yes here. So thank you guys for voting. That's Evangeline saying just don't use code words. Vicky says yes, but don't risk censoring. Chuck's wanting your opinion. Thank you guys. So we'll figure out a way to do that so you guys can but we won't risk anything. We have too much fun getting to do this with you guys every Tuesday. Speaking of that, let's keep going. Thank you a bunch for putting that in. I hope that helps. We're gonna
Don't
get
fear
to
it. Whatever you do not fear it anymore. It's not to be feared.
Speaking of to stay on topic, actually, Myra is saying off your topic probably, but just remember y'all online right now. Thank you. COVID immunity defense for teens, kids. I just found out a friend of a teen daughter who spent night with us positive for COVID today. Extra vitamins. I remember reading last year, pomegranate juice. Your thoughts? We might have already answered this question, Myra. Anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I'd probably take, use an immune formula if you've been around it. Again, don't fear it, especially with kids and teens. Somebody asked me during the height of COVID, my 12-year-old daughter's friend has COVID, next door. What should we do? My answer was take your daughter over to the house and let her play with her so she'll get COVID and get over it. That natural immunity means the best, unless you have an immunocompromised child or something you're worried about. But I'm telling you, do not fear COVID anymore. That's the word. Everybody's either had it or going to get it. Everybody. So don't fear it. Maybe take some extra vitamins, C, D, quercetin. And then, if she gets sick, has a flu-like illness, certainly when you have a sick kid or you're sick, stay away from other people. It's just, but a lot of times you're more transmittable before you actually come down with symptoms. But I like pomegranate juice. I take a shot of pomegranate juice every day. It's great for cancer prevention too, especially prostate cancer. But yeah, don't fear this. We're always going to have a flu season. COVID's part of the flu now. So don't freak out. Just use your, eat right, sleep, take your vitamins, and don't worry.
Well, there you go, Myra. I hope that helps. We're going to keep moving here. I want to get to everybody. Marshall is saying, can addictions be a result of a medical conditions? And if so, are there any supplements that could help? This is probably a lot here, Marshall. How are you looking at this, Doc?
Yeah, addiction certainly can result from certain medical conditions. There's no doubt about it. Some people have a genetic tendency to get addicted to different things, including sugar, which is one of the most addictive substances on earth. But yeah, again, like you said, Ben, that's a complex question. I like saffron. I think saffron takes cravings away. I really do. And of course, there's other prescription medicines that do as well. Like I use naltrexone, regular dose naltrexone for alcohol and opiate addicts. Again, I'm not an addictionologist, but those are things you can certainly think about. But what I would say is reach out for help. If you really have addictions, they can be to anything. But I love saffron. That's probably my favorite supplement in that regard. I really like it a lot.
Thank you for this, Marshall. We're going to keep moving here. I want to get to everybody. Looks like Victor's saying add zinc. That's exactly right as far as
zinc.
COVID. Yep.
Yep. Actually, the zinc is what cured a lot of COVID. The quercetin and the hydroxychloroquine got the zinc down into the cell. That's a good way to, very good point.
Let's keep moving here. I see Izzy's with us. I want to get to Jack's question. He's been with us all night. Jack is asking, you mentioned dermatomyositis. Dermatomyositis.
Wow.
My sister had it with MCTD. She died of it. Sorry.
I'm sorry
I
to
know
hear that.
I know it's a rare autoimmune disease. Is it genetic? Man, Jack, I'm super sorry about this. What's your answer to this, Doc?
You know, that's a really good comment. I'm sorry about your sister. It's a horrible disease to have. And certainly now they have a little better way of treating it with some of the biologics and things. But, you know, I was reading today in one of my medical journals about genetic testing for different cancers. They were talking about cancer, but certainly autoimmune diseases can also be genetically determined. They've got a whole set of screening cancer predispositions, not just the BRCA gene, but there's about 250 of them, and it's affordable now. So you can, you know, if you're really thinking about it, you could certainly get a some of the genetic testing for cancer to see if you have any of those predispositions. I mean, I didn't really know it until I read this article that the BRCA gene can also increase your risk for pancreatic cancer. You know, I just thought it was breast and prostate, but maybe even colon cancer. But certainly, well, they were saying this article about 10% genetic. So
interesting.
Yeah. So investigate. These things are going to be used commonly very soon. You know, I'm really searching out companies that will do a good job of this. I'm trying to get legitimacy with when I run this test because I don't want to unnecessarily worry people about this. But if you have a family history, then you need to ask yourself that. Should I look into this? And if you have that gene that they've identified with that, say pancreatic cancer, what can you do to screen for that? You might get a yearly MRI of your pancreas because if they catch it early, they can cure it. But you know, there's no really good blood screening test for pancreatic cancer. So, you know, if you have that prostate cancer gene, certainly get an MRI of your prostate yearly. That type of thing. I think the full body MRI is just not really developed enough. There's too many false negatives, at least too many different things just for the average person. But if you have that genetic marker, then there's a time for this, for, you know, excess scrutiny, increased scrutiny with some of the scans and things. So, yeah, very, very good question.
Thank you. Thank you for putting that in there, Jack. I want to get to Mark real quick. Mark's been patient with me. Experts say the new Mercolas COVID strain has 30 mutations to the original COVID-19 virus. What was in your home COVID treatment kit? We offer the home kit on Amazon. I know it won't be on Amazon. Well, at least it's not right now. But I'll let you answer.
It's probably a good way to lose your medical license, claim you have a home COVID treatment. But you got to really be careful with this stuff. But, you know, yeah, I mean, the protocols are in there. You know, I love the Frontline Coalition, you know, with, of course, the quercetin, the D, the zinc, the C, and having a Z-Pack at home, maybe even going the extremes of having the nebulized budesonide, which I certainly had at my house, and sure enough, I used it. You know, you need a steroid dose pack at your house, and that type of thing. I don't know about selling it on Amazon or anything, but certainly the recommendations are there. And you should be able to find our protocol on there somewhere, Ben.
Yeah, if you search for COVID box on our website, performancemedicine.net, it'll definitely come up. I want to keep moving here so we get to everybody. Kristen's been very patient with me as well. Kristen on Facebook is saying, I've had great success with Mounjaro, but had to stop due to cost last month. Is there anything comparable OTC? Very common question. We're dealing with this every day.
There's nothing comparable OTC to that. But one good thing is we've been able to find some compounded medicines that's very similar to that. It's still not cheap, but it's more expensive than semaglutide. But we have, I believe, Katie found another source today. We search every day for this stuff because
Katie's searching every single day.
Yeah. Kudos to Katie. She's still on here. She
Yeah.
does a great job with that.
Yeah. She's staying on it. And it's been something that I know has been frustrating for us and everybody. Because the Mounjaro and the Ozempic, to get that covered, I won't say it's impossible, but it's pretty darn hard.
Unless you have diabetes. And it's still hard to get. Yeah, I love it. I love that medicine. I think it really works with less side effects, better weight loss.
Let's get my grandmother's question here. Grandma Mary's asking, will 10 milligrams of melatonin hurt for a sleep aid?
No, no, not at all. You could use higher than that for sure.
All right, Grandma, I hope that helps. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Where am I at? Okay, I see my link is you're needing a prescription, or not a prescription, a subscription to Wall Street Journal. What we'll do is we'll probably do a green screen video over on Instagram here in the next couple of days.
Can you copy that article and post it, Ben?
They're going to have to read really small words. I can post a picture of it, and you can kind of see it. I'll do my best, guys. The link is you have to have a subscription to get to that link.
Oh, you do?
To read the whole thing. Let's keep going. Chuck, man, I hope you feel better. It seems that I'm sure this is happening with the teachers right now. Let's get to Evangeline's got a very important
Let's just hope
question.
to God they don't shut everything down again. That'd be a disaster. And this Wall Street article precludes to that. So check it out. But
what's your thoughts on Evangeline's question here?
Man. Oh, man, that's a close one there. Man, I don't know.
Evangeline, I can tell when he got the question.
Yeah.
When he got the question, I could tell.
Yeah, that's a good one. I tell you what, though, I've almost got Blackbird perfected. You heard it, didn't you, Ben?
It's pretty darn, it's good.
I mean,
it's good.
I like that. So I am working on my guitar, but man, that's a toughie. It's almost a tie. How about you? I'd like to see what you think.
What do you guys think? I think there's a little discussion going on. Roel saying Jimi Hendrix influenced both, but my favorite is SRV.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
One of my favorites is this guy right here, Kingfish. Can you see him back there?
I can actually. Yeah,
Kingfish is actually, he's about 21 years old. He plays as good as any of those guys do. You should go hear him if you get a chance.
Okay.
Jaw dropping. But,
I got, so it seems Rachel's asking the question everyone's thinking is, where's Ike and Izzy? We're going to close out the show.
Okay, that's a good cue. Ike?
Where are they at?
Izzy. Come here, Izzy. They're coming. We had a good show tonight, Ben. That was, guys, I don't know how long that was, but we had a lot of good questions. That may have been the best show we've ever had, Ben.
I think Roel gave us a 10 at like minute 50, and we kept going. So I think I give you a 10.
I don't ever take a 10, but
you got a 10. 9.8.
I don't believe in myself so much as what I'm trying to do.
That's right.
That's just how I look at it. But here's Izzy.
There's Izzy. There's a fan Izzy. Favorite there.
She's a cutie. She's a
beaut.
I can't get her up. She's getting real heavy. There she is. Okay. All right. There she is.
I don't think you would mind me sharing this. I thought this was very. Okay. I thought this was a cute.
Come here. You're right. Come here.
Get up. That's Doc with Izzy right there. Look at that. Look at Izzy. That's a good picture.
Here's Ike.
That's a good picture of Izzy there.
There's
Ike, what's going on,
Ike.
man? All right.
Ike's more shy than Izzy is. Hey, I wish we could post that. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to. We got to figure out a way to get that article to everybody. It's because it is. I'm looking at it right now. It's behind a paywall. The title is "No COVID Compliance This Time Around." It's in the Wall Street Journal. I'll try to figure out a way to make it so that everybody can see it.
Izzy about ate my earplugs.
Have you heard of this person? Vinay Trinity Padaki?
No.
Is that a guitarist?
It's like a guitar. It sounds like a classical guitarist. Wow. I'll look them up because I love to hear a good guitarist. Hey, one thing, if we could do it, Ben, that we ought to do, if people are interested, everybody knows Andy. He's on here. Yeah. 10 for the dogs, 9 for the people. I agree with that. If you could somehow post Andy's dance.
Oh, yeah.
From Saturday Night at Dance with the Stars. Andy Rogers. Turns out he's a John Travolta type dancer.
Yeah,
but,
it was phenomenal.
If you could somehow post that, it's pretty good. Andy's really talented. Is he coming on here next week? My place. When's he coming on next?
I think he's still a couple weeks out. But he's going to be on the show around once a month answering questions. He's focusing a lot on diabetes education. So if there's anyone you know that wants to learn more about either type 2 or type 1, he's the best I've heard explaining what to do. His education's phenomenal.
But he's also a dancer. So if you could show the link to him dancing, you won't believe it.
Yep. Rachel's saying it was amazing.
Show like he always does, but
I love it.
Anyway, Ben, it's been a great night. Thank you. And
Pop, great show, man. I think you did awesome. Like I really do. I thought you did a great job.
You're the one that does a good job.
Guys, we love you. Donna's saying it was a great performance. I'd love to see it again too. We love you guys. Thank you to all, everyone on our team in office. I see Montana just jumped in here. Montana, we love you so much. Thank you so much for everything you guys are doing over in the West Knoxville office. So pumped about the new location. It is beautiful. And thank you to all. Rachel's in here. We had Amber, Katie, Carter, Robin was in here. We couldn't do this show without you guys inside the offices delivering just the best care around. We love y'all so much. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being here tonight. Pop, I love you, man. I don't know how else to say it. I love you. And I will see you later. Guys, we'll be back next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m., as always, on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We had a few new LinkedIn people here tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope to see you back next week. Prayers to Victor there. We'll be thinking about you. We love you. We're out. Brad, take us away. See you guys.
Don't go away.